There was a time in my life when I thought working harder was the only way to get rich. But no matter how much I earned, I always felt like I was running in circles, chasing after something that stayed just out of reach. Then one day, I realized money doesn't solve problems if you don't know the rules of the game. What I'm about to share are 10 money lessons that didn't come from textbooks but from years of trial and error. These are lessons born from mistakes, setbacks, and a few light bulb moments. Especially rule number 3, rule number 6, and rule number 9. These changed the game for me, and I promise they'll do the same for you. Before we dive in, hit subscribe. Over 90% of viewers don't, and they miss out on content that could truly change their lives. Don't let that be you. Let's be honest. Managing money feels overwhelming, right? It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, if I just make more, everything will be fine. But here's the truth. Most people stay broke not because they don't earn enough, but because they don't understand the rules of money. Let's change that, starting with rule number 1. Rule number 1, invest in assets, not appearances. I remember a friend who bought a luxury car on a loan because, in his words, it's important to look successful. Fast forward 5 years, he was still paying off the car while I had invested in stocks that doubled in value. Rich people don't spend their money trying to look rich. They buy assets, things that grow in value and generated income. So ask yourself, does this purchase make me richer or just look richer? Rule number 2, debt is a tool, not a crutch. I once took out a personal loan to buy something I didn't need, thinking I could pay it off quickly. I didn't factor in the interest, and before I knew it, I was trapped in a cycle of minimum payments. It felt like financial quicksand. Good debt helps you grow, like a mortgage for a rental property or a loan for your education. Bad debt drains you. Before borrowing, ask yourself, will this debt make me money or cost me money? Rule number 3, build an emergency fund before anything else. One winter, I lost my job unexpectedly. It was terrifying. With no emergency fund, I had to rely on credit cards just to get by. The debt I accumulated during those months took years to pay off. Start small, save $1,000 as a buffer. Then work towards building 3 to 6 months of living expenses. It might feel slow, but this one rule can save you from financial disaster when life throws you a curveball. Rule number 4, spend less than you earn, but not just to save. When I got my first job, I thought I was doing great just by saving whatever was left at the end of the month. But here's what I didn't realize. Wealth isn't built on leftovers. It's built on priorities. You need to decide upfront how much you'll save, how much you'll invest, and how much you'll spend. Set aside at least 20% of your income the moment it hits your account, before you spend a single dollar. This simple habit will create a gap between your earnings and expenses that grows into wealth over time. Rule number 5, the earlier you start investing, the easier it gets. I used to think, I'll start investing when I earn more. Big mistake. I learned that every year you wait costs you far more than you think. A friend of mine started investing $100 a month at 25. I waited until I was 30. By the time we hit 50, his portfolio was worth nearly double mine, even though we invested the same amount each month. That's the power of compounding. Time is your biggest asset, so start today, even if it's just $50 a month. Small steps today lead to massive results tomorrow. Rule number 6, learn to delay gratification. When I was younger, I spent my bonuses on the latest gadgets. It felt great in the moment, but months later, those gadgets were outdated and my bank account was empty. That's when I realized wealth isn't built on impulse purchases. It's built on patience. The next time you want to splurge, wait 30 days. If you still want it after that, fine. But chances are, you won't. This habit alone can save you thousands over time. Rule number 7, always pay yourself first. I used to think paying bills first was the responsible thing to do. But here's what I learned. If you don't pay yourself first, you'll never have money left to save or invest. Every paycheck, set aside a portion for your future before you pay anyone else. Think of it as a non-negotiable bill to yourself. Rule number 8, your network is your net worth. Years ago, I joined a community of entrepreneurs. Just being around them changed the way I thought about money. Their mindset, strategies, and discipline rubbed off on me, and my financial life hasn't been the same since. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow. Their habits and wisdom will elevate your game in ways you can't imagine. Rule number 9. Focus on earning more, not just saving more. For a long time, I thought cutting expenses was the key to wealth, but there's a limit to how much you can save. There's no limit to how much you can earn. Instead of stressing over how to cut $50 from your budget, think about how you can earn an extra $500, whether through a side hustle, a new skill, or a better paying job. Rule number 10. Never stop learning about money. I used to think I knew enough about money because I had a savings account. But the more I learned through books, podcasts, and mentors, the more I realized how much I didn't know. Every new piece of knowledge opened doors to opportunities I never even knew existed. Commit to lifelong learning. The more you know, the better decisions you'll make, and the faster your wealth will grow. These 10 rules aren't just tips, they're lessons learned through experience, failures, and small victories. Following them won't just help you build wealth, it'll give you control, confidence, and freedom. If this video resonated with you, subscribe for more lessons like these, and don't stop here. Check out my previous video on the power of compounding. It's the ultimate secret to turning small steps into massive results. Click on the screen now, and I'll see you there.